Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Blackwater Abyss. Alright, cast and crew information down below. And let's start with this IMDb plot here. Very short, 5 friends exploring a remote cave system in northern Australia find themselves threatened by a hungry crocodile. Yes, this is a crocodile movie. Kind of get a little confused where there's crocodiles, where there's alligators, but it's all good. This one is crocodile, so chances are I might say alligator at some point, but it is crocodile, just to clarify that to start with. Obviously, a crocodile movie piques my interest, and kind of like sharks do, and always willing to turn one of these movies on. Sometimes it's sci-fi bad, and sometimes you end up with a good one. So you never know where you're going to end up here. So I decided to give this one a chance, and basically you have usual kind of setup here. Here it says 5 friends. Wish there was a few more. Let's have the crocodile eat some more people here. But they're 5 friends here. You kind of get the setup here. They go out into the woods. They're going to go out into a cave. They got all their gear on. They go in the water. They go into the cave. All stuff that I'm not doing. Just not happening. I don't remember if they knew the chances that there were crocodiles in the water or not, but it is Australia. From what I understand, there's all kinds of dangerous stuff everywhere in Australia. So I would not going in a cave, not going in any water, and certainly if I know that there's crocodiles, I'm not going in it. But anyway, these 5 people decide that's okay. They're gonna do it. Hey, be adventurous and hope to live another day. So they go into this cave. Everything's good. I guess they're searching for a spot. Going through, trying to find. I think one of them is kind of leading the way and knows more or less what they're looking for here. And there's some doubt they're going to find it. And then they eventually find this nice spot here where there's some water and everything like this. And it looks good. They're all having I'm not going to say they were all having a good time. I think there was at least one of them that was kind of like, yeah, why are we doing this? And this is dangerous, and when's the time to go home? And eventually stuff happens, and they find themselves trapped in this cave. And it's very dark. They have their little flashlight things and things on their head and flashlights and so forth. But pretty overall dark in this cave. And basically, when they get trapped in it, obviously their entranceways kind of get collapsed on. And they find, a very small space to kind of like stay up on. And basically got a center lake out in front of them. And, at first, it wasn't really a fear to not be in the water. But one of the girls is kind of convinced that there's something in the water. And she is dead on right, because there is a crocodile in the water. And it in turn attacks, I believe, one of the gentlemen here. And freaks everybody out. And now everybody's panicked because there's a crocodile in the water. There's no way out. What are they going to do? So that's kind of where we find ourselves in this movie. And what I'm going to say here is maybe it wasn't the most thrilling lead up to it and whatever, but I think, this is definitely not one of these sci-fi features where, it's like a 3-headed crocodile and combined with a snake or combined with some other creature. And, we have a pretty regular situation here. And in a way, I kind of appreciated that, at least to start. A lot of this movie here, I think, you have, you can use your imagination here or there, and maybe they exaggerated in a place or two, but I think for the most part, if you're looking for and sometimes it doesn't make for much excitement. You'd want more excitement and maybe them to maybe exaggerate a little bit more. But I think overall the set of circumstances here and the way everything unfolds, it is real. And I kind of caught a few reviews before turning this on, and I think that might be what turned some people off about this movie. Is that I think when I watched it, and what I appreciated it, not saying that it made it a great movie, but that they kind of stuck to a realism of the situation here. When the cave kind of explodes or kind of crumbles a little bit, and they kind of get trapped there, the way the characters respond and the things they do, they kind of stick to what maybe anybody else would have done in the situation, as opposed to some crazy events happening. Take a movie that I liked, and I think a lot of people did, was Crawl. It featured alligators, I believe. Could be wrong, but that was a great alligator movie, and but I think they obviously exaggerated some circumstances there, and that helped the movie, obviously. I think they maybe with some of the size of the alligator, some of the force they used when they killed them. But obviously, the being stuck down in the basement underneath for so long, I think it was the father. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling that movie if you haven't seen it, but that's not a huge spoiler. But I think there's certain circumstances in that movie that maybe they pushed the boundaries a little bit, and the level of water here and there you could have argued with, but this is not a review of Crawl. But just for example. Where I think this movie kind of stuck to a realism, and maybe too much, and maybe that's why some people complained about it. But some other people I think also mentioned really like the characters or not. I mean, sometimes people get too tied up and all that. I think in this circumstance, I think you're basically assuming that there's 5 people here and at least 4 of them are gonna die, at the least. Or at least, if you're rooting for the crocodiles and you want to see the deaths or whatever, you want to go 5 for 5, but you want to at least go 4 for 5. So, are they great characters or whatever? I mean, does that really matter if you're just rooting for them to die in the end? I guess you want them to be at least a little entertaining to get you through it. And sometimes that's more about the acting than the entertainment. I didn't think anybody did here a particularly great job or a particularly bad job. They do try to wrap in a little bit of drama between everybody. There is a little bit of drama there, which is fine and expected. But I think the thing here is like I've been saying, the movie kind of sticks to a lot of realism here and the realness of the situation. It doesn't go too far out of its boundaries, at least while they're in this cave, and while they're stuck here. There is a part where I guess, I'm hopefully not. I don't think this is much of a spoiler, but you know that they're gonna have to try to make an escape one way or the other, and I guess there's 2 gentlemen that kind of try to get out, and then they kind of have to hold their breath and go through a little bit of swimming here. If you want to push the boundaries and say that maybe that's a little bit of exaggeration, maybe that's it. As far as being able to do that in this situation and whatever, I don't know. I don't know that too much about cave diving and so forth. So maybe that's it. But as far as kind of being stuck there and so forth with the alligator, the crocodile. See, I told you how to do it. That's where I think maybe some of the issue is here. The other issue is, I guess, there are no spectacular deaths. I think, the crocodile is kind of the standard. He kind of gets you, uses a little bit of force, and, there's not an exaggerate. Let's see if this says, if it was not rated. So, it doesn't necessarily mean it was R. I don't remember anything hugely graphic in this movie. I think they were pretty simple standard of what you'd expect from the crocodile. In some movies you might see people getting ripped apart and so forth. I don't remember that happening. I did see this little while ago before I got to review this here. But I don't remember it being overly bloody, and maybe people wanted more of that. Like I mentioned, you're kind of thinking you want 4 out of 5 people to die. You want some blood and guts. At least I do, and I don't think you get a huge amount. My main issue more with the movie is kind of when I'm gonna say person X and Y and Z or whatever, however many you want to say, get out of the cave. The movie's not over. The crocodile's still there, or a crocodile's still there. I wasn't really sure whether it was the same one or a different one. And then I think that's when the movie kind of steps out of that realism and kind of tries to give you that Hollywood kind of dramatic ending there. And I didn't like that. I didn't like the ending at all. I didn't like that situation. I kind of felt that it was like we went from them trying to stick a lot to the realism in the cave and then try to give you Hollywood at the end, and I did not like that at all. Maybe it could have just sufficed if they would have done a little bit more in the cave and just had whoever was going to survive just make it out of the cave and call it a day. But they had to drag on the drama there and really give it to you there at the end, and I didn't like that. I didn't like the final act at all. So with that, I'm going to give this one two pools of blood, I think. A little disappointing. Wanted more deaths, wanted a little bit more bloodiness. Give them credit for the realism of the situation, not going to extreme. If you're looking, you kind of see them going into a cave and you're kind of thinking The Descent and actually the movie The Cave, kind of break your mind to that. Those are good movies and movies dealing with creatures that don't really exist or hopefully don't exist. So kind of escape your mind to that. But yeah, if you're looking for a great big bash of crocodile killings here and nice blood and guts, you might be a little disappointed here. But yeah, again, a credit for them to try to keep it real until that damn terrible Hollywood ending. So 2 pools of blood, and I'll leave it at that. And as usual, horrorscorereviews.blogspot.com. You can find more reviews, including written reviews, and video reviews are there as well. Subscribe to this channel. It makes it easy for the video reviews if that's all you're interested in. And you can comment down below on this movie if you want to talk about some other movies there as well. Twitter, Facebook, you can find my information down below as well for that. We can talk about this movie, other movies, whatever you want. Always willing to talk horror. And if you have a movie you want me to review, you can reach out to me there, and we can see if we can set that up, if possible. So Blackwater Abyss, 2 pools of blood, and I'm not going to stay in this water with this girl anymore. She's probably going to get eaten any second now. So with that, I'll catch you in the next review, horror fans.